Hi, Tesla Gaijin, episode 1. I'm Gaijin. Gaijin means, in Japanese, means a foreigner. And I've been here about 50 years. Since I was in middle school, I came here and I started to live here as a little kid who really liked to do a bunch of hobbies. My hobbies included, I like to study. Crazy as that may sound. I just like to study about things, about history, about reading dictionaries and even encyclopedias. A little bit crazy. Next, I liked plastic models. I built plastic models and, in fact, won a few contests in the United States on the national level. Then I came to Japan and I also won quite a few contests on the national level. So that was one of my big hobbies. The other thing is I always liked little mechanical and electrical things. Anything that was broken, you bring it to me and I will take it apart, and sometimes it remained broken. But often as not, I would fix it or learn how to fix it one way or another. This is all before the internet, so that had to be done at the library and sometimes just by trial and error, but that was my other hobby. Finally, my hobbies were photography. And I like to take pictures. I liked to print and enlarge and do all kinds of other stuff and I was a school photographer. So this is what I was doing until I got into high school. When I got into high school, I got crazy about motorcycles. And so I'll show a couple up here. My first motorcycle was a Honda Dax 70, little green thing that was a lot of fun. I took it apart a lot and messed with it a lot and made it a little bit faster here and there. My next bike was a Honda CB750 K2. What a wild ride. Maybe I can talk about that more. Then after that, quite a few bikes came one right after another. But enough about that for now. Next I'm going to talk about the person that I met on my 17th birthday. At my birthday party, I met my wife of 40 years. And she and I drove around Japan and this whole Kanto area in cars and motorcycles and had a lot of fun. And we're still having a lot of fun. So that gets me to Teslas. So after all this time, you're wondering, where's the Tesla? Well, this is Tesla Gaijin, so part of it is about Tesla and part of it about the Gaijin. So now we get into the Teslas. I don't have one yet. Sadly, I'm really wishing I did, but I'm waiting for it to come. As far as I have last heard, it's now on a boat somewhere outside of Tokyo Bay, and I am really hoping that to see it soon. I'll tell you a little bit about that. First of all, how I got a Tesla. About 2 months ago, I had zero interest in electrical vehicles and hardly even, I knew the name Tesla, but it had no interest or actually no knowledge about them at all. Then I was watching a YouTube, and Jay Leno came out and did a YouTube on the Model Y. I was intrigued. So I looked up here and found here out in Japan that the Model Y is not yet available here in Japan, but they did have a Model 3. I looked at the S and the X and they were way out of my out of my price range, even in my highest expectations. There's no way I could afford either of those. So Model 3 was out but not available. They'd had a few brought into Japan, but really hard to get. But they did have one for a test drive. So I went up to a place, it's a little while from here, up in Kawasaki. My wife and I drove up to Kawasaki and we test drove a Model 3 Standard Range Plus. And in one word, wow. It was amazing. Not because it was the fastest car I've ever driven. I've driven a few fast cars. Um, I've been in some interesting, what I consider foreign cars, because here in Japan, been in some nice fast American cars back in the 70s. And I've been in some pretty fast European cars. And I've even been in some pretty fast Japanese cars. But this was a different kind of fast. It was a fast that probably matches my age group better. But that fast came on real quick, and it was very smooth. And my wife was sitting in the back seat, and I said, "Hey, why don't you give it a try?" She, "Nah, no." But I cajoled her into the driver's seat, and the sales guy was a little concerned, but he knew who would have to give final approval, I guess. So she got in, and she drove the car longer than I did. And we went back to the Kawasaki store and sat down, and the guy left us alone for a while, and we sat down and talked about it, and saw that it didn't require very much money down just to put in an order. So we put in an order that day. We looked at all of the colors, and of course the sales guy was trying to save money for us, so he suggested, "Oh, get the white. It's a very nice color," but I ended up getting the red. It cost a pretty penny, but to me, at this point in life, well, why not? So there we are. We had ordered a Tesla. I'm going to give you a few reasons why we were impressed with it. One is, the price was not as outrageous as I originally imagined. It was reasonable. Especially when you look at the total cost of ownership, it wasn't outrageous. Then it was fast enough. And I kind of liked that part personally, but I think even my wife liked the fact that it had accelerated into traffic and through even complicated situations with aplomb. It was just very nice and smooth and got you there. Then the next thing was it was very comfortable. It was a well-built car and very smooth. There weren't any noises or anything to bother us. And if anything, what we kind of said was weird was the lack of anything in the interior except a 15-inch screen. I think that we'll get used to that. So we went ahead and ordered that, and we came home, and at the time the guy said, "Well, even if you place an order now, we'll hope it'll be in by the end of the year, 2020. So, okay. Wasn't that much money, and I'll just out of pocket, maybe, who knows. We'll see. So then he calls the next day and says, "Oh, it'll be here by October 30th. I thought, "Oh, cool." And I still got lots of time to think about it and to dwell upon it and to look at more YouTubes and to find out some more information and also find out what it takes to actually purchase and put on the road, get number plates, all of those kind of things here in Japan. So we were just kind of dawdling, and I was having fun watching YouTubes in both English and Japanese. And then the guy called last week and said, "Oh, it'll be in on the 30th of September. Okay. That meant that we had to sell our present Honda. We had to get an authorized parking permit, which in Japan is a big deal. We had to get my signature paperwork at the ward office. We had several things, and then insurance. Called up my insurance agent, and he said, "We don't even know what a Tesla is." So found out that very few companies will insure a Tesla as yet. So I found Insure My Tesla online, and sure enough, they had a Japanese site, and we were able to get everything done online at a price that we thought was very reasonable. Not much more than our Honda van. So all of these things came together all last week. We got all the paperwork for the parking lot, for parking permit, and we did everything we needed, and we even found a place that would come over and look at our car. I'm going to talk about all those things maybe another video And I'll just tell you, generally speaking, my personal thing about Tesla is it's just an incredibly technical and interesting and fun vehicle. That's what caught me. My wife is graciously allowing me to go ahead and change our car from a very utilitarian car to a little bit less utilitarian four-door sports car. Simply because, well, she's doing it for me. And also, I think maybe she might even be interested too. We'll see. Anyway, all of these things and all of the little things that you need to purchase when you buy a Tesla, I'm going to be introducing in coming ones. There's a lot of things I've already found that there's a gazillion YouTubes out there that will tell you, you got to have this, you got to get that, and this is a must-have. I'll probably put out something on my own list. In fact, I've already got a few things that my wife has graciously bought for my birthday, and so which is coming up soon. So all of that will hopefully we'll have more episodes after this. But in the meantime, that's where I am. So I'll get into a lot of the other things, including wiring my house for charging and what it talks about superchargers in the area. I'll get into all that at a later date. But in the meantime, I'd like you to consider if this video helps you to look at an electric vehicle and think, wow, maybe I'll buy a Tesla, then please use my referral code, and that way you get 1,000 miles or 1,500 kilometers at a supercharger, and so do I. And I appreciate that if you just go ahead and use my link. Otherwise, I'm hoping you had fun watching and maybe seeing some of my pictures. And this is my first time to do a green screen, and so we'll see how that turns out. And perhaps I can show you some other interesting things about what it's like to be a Gaijin in Japan. Bye.